What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? This is your boy Is Nefarious, and I am here for another episode following the Chicago White Sox rebuild. We are in the off season, or going into the off season. We're in the playoffs. If you're enjoying the content, before I continue, please like, comment, and subscribe. Nailing it. But we are here in the playoffs, and we could slow sim these playoffs and kind of keep an eye on what's going on there. The Barons AA team have won the Southern League Championship Series. So this team in the AA won something for us, which is pretty dope. So they won against the Clingstones, Colorado Clingstones, I would assume. So I think that means their season's over. I guess that's the championship. So pretty dope that they won something. But back to the majors, where we have the wild card round. You got Baltimore versus the Yankees. You got Seattle versus Minnesota. You got Cleveland waiting to see who wins between Baltimore and New York. You got Toronto waiting for the final of Seattle and Minnesota. Taking a look at the NL side of things, you got the Mets versus the Padres. You got the Reds versus the Diamondbacks. Phillies waiting the winner of the Mets and the Padres. The Dodgers are awaiting the winner of the Diamondbacks and the Reds. So let's go ahead and slow sim. Advance day by day. As you can see, San Diego makes short work of the Mets. They go on to the next round to play the Phillies. We're still waiting for Cincinnati and Arizona. You got the Yankees sweeping the Orioles to go on to the next round, so they'll be facing Cleveland. So simming the next one, Seattle wins against Minnesota. They move on to the next round to face Toronto, and then you got a split over in the Cincinnati and Arizona series. Let's see who ends up coming out of that one. Cincinnati with the win. So in the AL, you got the Yankees versus the Guardians. You got the Mariners versus the Blue Jays. You got the Padres and the Phillies in the NL. You got the Reds and the Dodgers in the NL as well. So let's go ahead and continue this sim. So you got the Dodgers moving on already, a 3-0 sweep against the Reds. You got the Yankees up 2-0 and the Mariners up 2-0, and then you got the Padres up 2-1 on the Phillies. The Padres end up winning against the Phillies. They move on to the next round to face the Dodgers. And then in the AL, you got Seattle making short work of the Blue Jays, and the Yankees are up 2-1 against the Guardians. 2-2 against the Guardians. This next game is the Yankees. So in the AL, you got the Yankees versus the Mariners. In the NL, you got the Padres versus the Dodgers. Well, let's go ahead and sim the rest of this. So you got the Dodgers winning in a 4-1 series against the Padres. You got the Yankees tied 2-2 with the Mariners. Mariners go up 3-2. And then the Mariners take the AL Championship Series, and they'll play the Dodgers in the World Series. So let's take a look at both teams. We'll go to the Mariners first. So the Mariners got Julio Rodriguez, who's their number one player. You got George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, Cal Raleigh. You also got J.P. Crawford, Matt Brash, Luis Castillo. You got Andres Munoz. You got Bryce Miller. You got Brian Wu, Randy Arozarena. So you got a pretty good team. Colt Emerson, who is a rookie. He's in the AAA. He's not even playing in the MLB yet. So that's a nice little rookie that they'll have next season. So that is your Mariners. And obviously, you know this Dodgers team is nasty. Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Riley Green. You also got Tyler Glasnow, Blake Snell, Tommy Edman. You got Tanner Scott, Roki Sasaki, Will Smith. You got Yamamoto here. You got Rushing, Toscar Hernandez, James Ottman, Evan Phillips, Brusdar Graterol, Dustin May, and Edgardo Enriquez. You got Kim there, Bobby Miller, Andy Pages, Michael Kopech. I mean, this team is nasty. So I think the Dodgers are the clear favorite in this series, but maybe the Mariners could play spoiler in this series on the way, and the Mariners win the first game. The Dodgers tie it immediately. Mariners take game 3. Game 4 goes to the Dodgers. Game 5 goes to the Mariners. Game 6 goes to the Mariners. The Mariners have defeated the Dodgers in the 2025 World Series. What a outcome that was. That I did not expect. The Dodgers lose to the Mariners in the 2025 World Series. Put that on the sports book. Go ahead and cash that in and test your luck. So now it's time to begin our off season. We will have 5 days to discuss some contracts before people go into free agency. We got arbitration. We also got qualifying offers are 1 year, 21.9 million. So that's something to remember. Let's view the retired players. Anybody from the White Sox? Nobody from the White Sox, so we don't have to worry about that. Moving on to the 2025 Hall of Fame inductees, and Max Scherzer, 219 wins, 112 losses, 1 save, pitched almost 3,000 innings, had 3,430 strikeouts, and a 3.16 ERA for his career. A hell of a career. Definitely deserved to be in that Hall of Fame. So with re-signs and free agency upon us, we're taking a look at the budget, and we have 93.99 million available. So we have pretty much 94 million available for all these decisions. We got some interesting decisions that we got to go through, like are we going to bring back Austin Slater and things like that. But I just wanted to go over the budget, show you exactly what we got for money and what we're spending towards player salaries for this season. And we got a lot of interesting decisions when it comes to who's gonna go and who's gonna stay on this team. Remember, we don't want to spend too much money, but if we are going to spend the money, we want to make sure that they're worth it. We're gonna bargain shop the best we can, look at the stats and see what's worth it and what might not be worth it. So let's jump into the re-signs. So this is a short list of players that we have to re-sign. We got Austin Slater, Martin Perez, Travis Jankowski, and Michael A. Taylor. And one name that really stands out here is going to be Austin Slater. Now, Austin Slater had a really good season with a 283 average, a 377 on base, 440 slugging, 444 slugging, OPS of 821. He had a 978 fielding percentage, a 2.0 WAR. He was very, very good for us. He was one of our better players, if not our best player, arguably so. And I think he deserves a contract. Now, he is 33 and he wants a long-term deal, but I'm going to go with a 1-year deal, or a 2-year deal, just to, not commit too much to him. So I'm going to offer him 2 years, 20 mil, and see if he takes it. So we'll offer him that, see if he ends up re-signing. We're not going to offer too much for him, given his age and also his overall. He is a 77 overall, but he outperformed that. We don't know how good he'll be. And attribute-wise, he does fit what we want to do. Really good discipline and okay vision. I would say it's on the below average side, but really good discipline. He's pretty clutch with the bat, has solid fielding. He's not as fast, not going to steal a lot of bases, but I think he's a great person to have in your lineup towards the top half, or maybe even towards the bottom half if you're looking for that player that gets on base before we switch up to the top half of the order. But like I said, 33 years of age. Let's offer him a short-term deal, 2 years, 10.5. We do need 2 outfielders in our depth chart. Right now we got Brooks Baldwin, who's more of a shortstop that could play outfield, and then we got Braden Montgomery, who's a little ways out, and he actually dropped to a C potential. So that's the offer we're going to make for Austin Slater. When it comes to the other 3, I think we're going to let them walk depending on how much they want, but we are definitely offering on Austin Slater. After reviewing the rest of the players, we're actually going to let all 3 walk. All we're going to go is with Austin Slater, but we also going to talk about our coaching options that we have, because I think we need a first base coach and a bullpen coach. I gotta double check, but we do need a couple coaches. So we need a pitching coach. I said bullpen, but we need a pitching coach and a first base coach. So we're gonna review some of our options and then pick it up when we figure out who exactly we're gonna offer, instead of just sitting here while I mule over multiple options and be indecisive the whole time. For our pitching coach, we're gonna go with Dominic Townsend, or at least try to go for Dominic Townsend. He's a overall coach. He wants 1.1 mil per year as a pitching coach. He does have +1 to Ks, +2 to stamina, +1 to walk, and +1 to home runs per 9. So let's go ahead and offer him and see if he comes aboard. As you can see, our interest level is okay, not great. We'll see if he comes aboard though. Reviewing our coaching staff, we notice Will Venable is absolutely a terrible manager. D attribute grade, -2 to plate vision, -2 to clutch, -3 stamina, -1 reaction, and we're paying him 1 million. We are gonna release him immediately. So because the coach is under contract, we're required to pay the rest of the current contract, which is 2 million. I'm okay with that, because he is terrible. So now we're going to look for a manager and a first base coach on top of the pitching coach that we just offered. For our manager, so we're going to go with Jonathan Ilosky, who seems to fit exactly what we want to do. The +2 speed, +3 reaction, helps fielding. You do lose a little plate vision. I wish that was a different attribute that we would lose. He wants 4.2 million per year for 3 years. Let's go ahead and offer this and see what happens. So he's not super interested in joining us, so we'll have to see if we got a better option out there that's also, you know, fitting what we want to do offensively and defensively and with the pitching staff. And for a first base coach, we're gonna go with Johnny Blake, or at least try to. 3 years, 2.6 million. He adds 1 to reaction fielding, 2 to arm accuracy, and 1 to arm strength. So I think he'll be a good addition if he signs with us. So we'll offer him. So now we got our manager offer, we got our pitching offer, and then we also got our first base coach offer, and we'll see if they end up signing with us in the near future. Hopefully they do, but not a lot of interest in some of these offers, as I show you right here. We got Ilosky, Townsend, and Blake. Let's see if they sign. So Townsend, Dominic Townsend, the pitching coach we offered, accepted the Marlins offer as pitching coach. Is no longer considering our offer, so we did not get him. So that is a bad hit. So now we have to go back and try to find a pitching coach. Now for a pitching coach, we're going to try to get Kenny Levi here. -2 to hit per 9, +3 stamina, +1 velocity, and +1 K per 9. He wants 880K, so we'll save some money there as well if he signs, because right now it doesn't show a lot of interest. So we lost out on the manager as well. He's no longer interested to be the manager for the White Sox. Doesn't say he signed with somebody, so maybe we'll circle back and add a little bit more money and see if we could get him to be our manager of the future. But in positive news, Johnny Blake has accepted our offer and will be our first base coach for the 3 years. So we at least get him. But we got to worry about the other staff that we need to fill, especially the manager position, because that's going to be huge with this team. So we're going to go back on Jonathan Ilosky to be our manager. We offered him 13.6 million for 3 years. So that would give him a total value of 4.5 million a year. So that is our offer for him. I think he'll be a great fit here. So let's see if he accepts that. And then we also got to take a look at free agency, because free agency just started. What kind of options do we have out there? Quick overview of what's out there in free agency. You got Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Ryan Helsley. You also got Dylan Cease, Devin Williams, Kyle Tucker, Bo Bichette, Zach Gallen. As you can see, it says qualifying offer made as well. So they got that 21.9 million for 1 year already wrapped into them. You got Framberg Valdez. You also got Zach Eflin, JT Realmuto. You got Suarez, Gleyber Torres, Matt Strahm. You got Gregory Soto, Willie Castro, Eric Feedy, Hunter Harvey, Cedric Mullins, Luis Arraez. So you got a bunch of good options here, Jordan Montgomery, and we got a bunch of holes on this team. So taking a look at the depth chart real quick and what we could potentially be looking for. We could look for improvement at the starting position, the starting pitcher position, and getting a #1 ace in the market while we wait for Noah Schultz, Hagen Smith, and some of our pitching prospects to come up. We could make an improvement at second base. Chase Mydroth is okay with the bat, but we would like somebody that's better in the field, and we could even move Chase Mydroth to the DH position. Shortstop, we're not going to so much look for. I think Colson Montgomery is our answer there, and then we got Brooks Baldwin to back him up. We do need an answer on the outfield when it comes to left field and right field. Third base, we got Rojas right now. Is he the answer is the question. Probably not, but I think with him and his 9.2 million for this year, I think we just hold off on getting a third baseman, especially if the numbers don't match up. First base is definitely somewhere where we need to improve. Andrew Vaughn is our first baseman, but he's in arbitration, so we got to figure out if he's going to come back to this team. That's a decision we have to make, or could we get a better first baseman out of free agency, maybe even Vlad Guerrero Jr. that will kickstart this team's competitive route into MLB playoffs and things like that. So we got a bunch of decisions to make, so we'll start to make them and then check in periodically when we make those decisions, so we don't fill the time with a bunch of nonsense or mumbo jumbo, and we get straight to the point. So with the impending Andrew Vaughn situation, we're going to decide not to bring him back, and what we're going to do is we're going to actually get trade him before we lose all control of him to the Giants for Camilo Doval. So Camilo Doval, it comes to the team. I think it'll help out the bullpen, and then the Giants get a extra first baseman in Andrew Vaughn, maybe even give some time for Bryce Eldridge to develop a little bit more. But that is the trade we're going to do, and we get some more decisions to make. And during our first round of free agency, this is what we're going to go with. We're going to go after Dylan Cease. He would help out that pitcher rotation immensely. And then we're going to go with Josh Naylor as the number 2. We're not going to put a number 3 because then you lose motivation. So I could either do Dylan Cease by himself and I get +7 motivation per week, or I could do Dylan Cease with Naylor and I get +6, which is good, and I still could work on first baseman, which we will definitely need going into the season after we traded Andrew Vaughn. So our free agency is going to look like this as far as what we need. We're going to talk about our position needs as well. We don't need a shortstop at third base, maybe a second baseman, a starting pitcher, of course, and then a outfielder would be nice. We could actually take off the second baseman and go straight with an outfielder, more so a left fielder or a right fielder. We'd have to take a look at the depth chart. I would say more so a right fielder, but I think either corner could get it done. So let's go with a right fielder for now. So we got a first baseman, starting pitcher, and a right fielder as positional needs, and that will also give us a +1 boost to the motivation for Dylan Cease and Josh Naylor. So now they should be up to 7 and 5. I wonder if we take one off, we don't get anything extra. Team needs, we are gonna say some speed, defense definitely, and then we could say I would say a left-handed pitcher. We could only do 2 team needs. So we need some defense, and then we could say maybe, let's see if we could get a motivation. We could get some motivation to Naylor. We could go with a finesse pitcher, power pitcher. We get motivation to Dylan Cease if we do that. So if we go with a left-handed batter and a power pitcher, we could also get some more motivation to our big board. We get +8 and then +6. So that's what we'll do. We'll lock in those changes. There's no signings so far, so lock in those changes. And then we got other decisions as far as who we're going to re-sign. Right now we got a couple people we're already working on, but there's other decisions we have to make there. But that's what our free agency for this week's going to be. And then also maybe we got another trade coming up. Checking in on our tendered contracts, we offered Hagen Smith, Mike Vasil, Brooks Baldwin. I'll show you all the offers actually. You got Drew Thorpe, Chase Mydroth, Prelander Baroa. You got Cam Boozer, Frazier, Ellard, Brian Ramos, Bobby Dahlbeck, Kai Bush, and Greg Jones. I offered them all multi-year deals because they were willing to take it, but we renewed a lot of our, filler prospects and other things like that. The one thing I did notice, and I didn't realize is that we do have our second baseman, Leo Tejera. We ended up signing him. 18 years old, 74 overall, and he's got C potential. We also got our right fielder in Juan Cruz, a 59 overall, B potential, first round pick. So you could say we kind of missed on that one. And then we had one other pick that we signed. Can't remember off the top of my head the position. Oh, Harvey Thurston. Harvey Thurston is a 6'2", 183 third baseman, 183-pound third baseman with B potential, 48 overall, so pretty low on the overall scale. But that was it for the picks. I believe the starting pitcher that we wanted, we weren't able to sign. I'll just double check looking through. Yeah, we weren't able to sign the young pitcher out of the draft, which is no big deal, but we were able to get some of our draft picks from this past draft, which is good. And we're also, you know, re-signing most of our youth here. Could definitely use some better pieces. So let's jump back into the sim, because we got free agency and we've done our arbitration for most. We also got to take a look at some others that we're waiting on. But let's do our free agency thing and simulate a couple of days and pick it up. So taking a look at all the renewed contracts that we did in this offseason. We got Camilo Duvall that we got from the trade, but then we got all these renewed contracts. As you can see, a bunch of, you know, depth pieces, prospects, and things like that. Obviously, some of our big prospects have to be renewed as well. And then we also re-signed Cam Boozer to a 2-year, $1.56 million contract. Chase Mydra through a 3-year, $2.34 million contract. Hagen Smith, 2-year, $1.56 million contract. Greg Jones, 2-year, $1.6 million contract. We also had Steven Wilson, Camilo Duvall. Duvall was 3 years, $16 million after trading away Andrew Vaughn. We had to sign him. You had Perlander Baroa, Penn Murphy, Mike Vasil, Drew Thorpe, Kai Bush, Bobby Dahlbeck, and Brooks Baldwin all re-signing as well. So we're still waiting to see some of our free agency things and, you know, some of the stuff there, which we'll probably get to see at the end of the week. So let's get over to the end of the week. Today is the day to offer contracts to free agents. Would you like to stop simulating? Yes, I would. So let's look at our free agency. Rival opportunity. You heard through the grapevine that the Minnesota Twins are looking at Devin Williams. Do we add him to the big board or do we not? Right now, we are not going to add him to the big board. So Dylan Cease is at 31% motivation to sign. You got Josh Naylor at a 35% motivation to sign. As you can see, Dylan Cease has multiple teams in on him: the Mets, the Rangers, and the Colorado Rockies. So we got our work cut out for us when it comes to Dylan Cease. Hopefully we can get enough motivation to actually offer him and then steal him from, you know, these 3 other teams. But that is the situation right now. Let's see how it plays out. Hopefully we could get Dylan Cease and Josh Naylor. So the manager hunt still continues as Jonathan Olowski has accepted the Athletics offer to be the third base coach and is no longer considering our offer to be the manager of the White Sox. So we still need to find a manager at this point. So let's jump back into that. Let's offer somebody, and hopefully we can get a good manager for this team and, you know, turn you know, some of this losing around here early on in our rebuild. So we're gonna offer Rufus Warner for the manager position. He wants $9.9 million for 3 years, so that's $3.3 million a year, +1 clutch, -1 to contact, -1 walks per 9, and then +3 speed. That +3 speed kind of being the key factor there, and I'm okay with giving up 1 walks per 9 and 1 to contact as well. We want to build this team with speed and also havoc on the base pass. So let's see if Rufus Warner wants to be the manager of the future for our Chicago White Sox. And we have a big free agency signing. Devin Williams goes to the Dodgers. He signs a 2-year, $32.7 million deal. I do not know how they get away with spending all this money, but he is going over to LA to help out that bullpen and help out that dominant team that just lost the World Series, though. So maybe they do need the help. But Devin Williams to the Dodgers, the first big free agent signing. And then back to back, you got JT Realmuto going to the San Diego Padres, 87 overall catcher, had a 294 average with 14 home runs, 56 RBIs, and 13 steals. A 3-year, $41.4 million deal. So a nice little deal for the San Diego Padres getting their new catcher. You also had Zach Gallen, who was also a potential, pick for us if we didn't get Dylan Cease. He's going to the Arizona Diamondbacks. The offer is 5 years, $131.7 million. So he's 87 overall, 13-9 last season with a 3.23 ERA, 193 strikeouts, and 195 innings. Only 30 years old, so they'll have him until he's 35. But Zach Gallen going to the Diamondbacks. Ryan Helsley is going to go to the Minnesota Twins. So they get Helsley, who signed a 4-year, $70.7 million deal. 91 overall. He had 47 saves out of 50 shots, 2.93 ERA, 76 strikeouts, and 67.2 innings. So they get their bullpen arm and their closer for the next 4 years. So taking a look at free agency once again. So Dylan Cease, we're sticking with it. I mean, he's only at 39%. We need 11 more percent for us to try to go ahead and even offer him. We need 9% for Naylor, but the good news is it seems like he's got 2 teams, but we're not 100% sure. We do know 3 teams are in on Dylan Cease. Hopefully he holds out a little bit longer so we could then offer him as well, and Josh Naylor as well, because we need a first baseman. So we're gonna stick with the long game and hopefully, committing to these 2 free agents don't hurt us in the long run. Another big signing, the Giants signed Framber Valdez, 3 years, $72.7 million. He's an 86 overall, went 11-14, a 4.76 ERA, 166 strikeouts, and 189 innings. Might be a little overpriced for somebody that didn't have a great season last year. All right, so it's now or never for Dylan Cease. 5% motivation decrease. Another organization has made the first competitive offer to hit this top 25 free agent. So Dylan Cease gets an offer. It's either the Guardians, the Orioles, or the Phillies. Do we offer a contract? I say we just put our name or our hat in the bidding and see what happens. So we're gonna up our offer a little bit. As you can see, our budget going down. So we can't go past 37.25 million. You could do 8 years. He's 30 years old. That's a lot of money, 8 years. I think we're just gonna, offer a little bit over asking, but we're not gonna go too crazy. He's as good as gone. He's as good as gone. So let's see who he goes with. So Dylan Cease, who we wasted enough time trying to grab, he is going to sign with the Chicago White Sox. So 6 years, $35.16 million per year. We signed Dylan Cease. Oh man, I didn't really think he would sign with us, but we get an ace. So that's the positive. And then maybe at one point we'll have to flip him. But we also got Josh Naylor, who we have to offer a contract to if we want to get him. They say 2 years, 11.4. We could offer 4 years. As you can see, it brings the percentage up. So 4 years. This is per year amount. I think that's too much. We're gonna just skip on Josh Naylor. We're gonna 12 million per year. I mean, we could have just re-signed Andrew Vaughn at that point. So what we're gonna do is offer the base and see what happens. We're not gonna go above 11.4, and we'll see what he says. So he's signing with the Nationals. He signed a 2-year, $11.4 million deal. It looks like 2 years. No, 4 years, $11.66 million at the bottom. That's what he signed for. So we got Dylan Cease, $211 million for 6 years. A 12-7 record, 3.32 ERA, 234 strikeouts, and 189.2 innings. So we get our ace for the next 6 years. Kyle Tucker signs an 8-year, $228.1 million deal with the Reds. He batted 283 with 28 home runs, 89 RBIs, and 21 steals, and he's a 90 overall. So some big free agency signings so far. And free agency's not done, so let's take a look. We got no big board, so now we gotta have to decide on what we want to do now with free agency. So now with free agency changing, and we got Dylan Cease and we lost out on Josh Naylor, we're going to change our plans. We're going to go with Austin Slater as priority 2. He was really good for us last year as a White Sox. And then we're going to also go with Willie Castro, who we could have play second base. That's got good fielding. He's also got a pretty decent bat. He's a switch hitter. He's got decent speed as well. Fits what we're trying to do a little bit more. Good on base with 313. He's also got a good fielding percentage with 991. So he fits exactly what we want to do. And he could play the outfield. Play a ton of positions. So Willie Castro is going to be priority 1, priority 2, Austin Slater. And you know we need those outfielders. So it's now or never with Willie Castro, and we don't have near enough interest to even try to sign him. So I think we're just going to bow out of this. He's getting an offer from either the Red Sox, the Blue Jays, or the Braves. Neither are in our division, so we're not even going to bother trying to offer on him. He's signing with the Blue Jays for 6 years, $16 million per year. So Willie Castro goes to the Blue Jays for $16 million per year for 6 years. Another big free agency signing, you got Zach Eflin going to the Mets, 5 years, $135.1 million, 83 overall, 15-9 with a 3.35 ERA, 166 strikeouts, and 190 innings. Then you had Vladimir Guerrero going to the Diamondbacks, 276 with 39 home runs, 94 RBIs. He had 1 steal, 8 years, $220.5 million to the Arizona Diamondbacks. All right, since we lost out on Willie Castro and having a massive need at first base, we're going to go after Ryan O'Hearn, a left-handed batter, 32 years old, 6'3", 220, has decent ability to get on base, but also a solid fielder. Not the best fielder, but a solid fielder. Going to give you 20-plus home runs. I think that's something that we could definitely go for. I mean, he had 20 last year. He's usually in between the 14... It looks like 14, 15, and then he had 14 and 12 back when he was in KC. So decent little pop. Not gonna add 30 home run bat, but 20 plus home runs if you're lucky. I'll take that. Plus a pretty good job getting on base, and adds another lefty bat to the lineup. So that is going to be the two we're going after: Austin Slater and Ryan O'Hearn. Let's see if we're able to get these two. So Ryan O'Hearn has 72% motivation to sign with us. He wants 2 years, $9.3 million a year. And then we got 62% motivation to sign with us with Austin Slater. And it looks like he might be talking to the Blue Jays. O'Hearn's talking to the Nationals and the Mariners. Let's go ahead and offer him a contract. So 2 years, $9.3 million. I think if we put on the pressure, maybe we could get him. I'm not too mad at the $9.3 million for 2 years. It's actually a little more expensive than Andrew Vaughn, but Vaughn also wanted a longer deal. So let's go with Ryan O'Hearn. He adds a little bit of stability with the glove there at first base compared to Andrew Vaughn, and we'll give Austin Slater a little bit more time to gain motivation before we offer on him. All right, for the 2025 draft lottery results, let's simulate the draft lottery. So the draft lottery results: the Braves get first overall. You got the Angels at number 2, Marlins at number 3, the White Sox at number 9. You got the Athletics at number 4, Giants at number 5. You got the Nationals at 6, Rockies at 7, Tigers at 8, us at 9, and then the Rangers at 10. And that is your draft lottery results. So we end up at number 9, so another top 10 pick. Hopefully we do a lot better. So contract decision coming in for Ryan O'Hearn. This offer isn't quite what I'm looking for, but we're not far apart. Let's keep talking. Okay, we'll give him a little bit more time. We also got the Rule 5 draft, which we're going to participate in. Let's see if there's anything out there that really could help us. You got Pena, who's a shortstop. Not really interested in him because You know, he's not even ready to be in the majors. We could go with Amonte, who's a relief pitcher. You got another relief pitcher there. But honestly, nothing of note that we really want to add to this team. We could go with Chris Bryant, who's a first baseman right now. Bobby Dahlbeck is the #1. We could also go with Ryan Ward. Chris Bryant wouldn't be a bad one, just to add another bat. His defense isn't there, but $26 million on that contract. I think that's what, you know, make sure we don't sign him. Decent fielding, decent bat. Ryan Ward, a 5'10" first baseman from Massachusetts. You got Ivan Melendez, Tyler Black, second baseman who could play first base. You got David Boot. Him being able to play first base makes him a interesting pick. Payne Ellis. You also got DJ Stewart, who could play first base. Not that bad, pretty decent fielding. Could definitely fit into that third base role. You got Ortega. I think I might actually take DJ Stewart here, just because he could play first base. So if we lose out on a first baseman, we got DJ Stewart that could fill in. But let's draft him. I hope he wasn't a big contract. We're gonna skip this draft. I mean, skip this selection. So we're not gonna draft again. But we got DJ Stewart, who could play first base. I doubt he was a big contract. Definitely not a name I know of. So Rule 5 draft is over. DJ Stewart does not have a big contract. He's actually in arbitration right now. So let's go to arbitration. Arbitration has been offered. It was $3.2 million. See if we could make him an offer. 2.6 for 5. All right, we'll let arbitration do its thing. As far as free agency, we're getting a call. Hello, I'm reaching out in regard to Randall Grichuk, who's a right fielder. 76 overall. He's got a good bat. His discipline's not there. His vision's okay. Not a great glove. I'm sorry, we're not really interested. Not interested in him at all. We got more motivation from Ryan O'Hearn. He's now up to 80% motivation to sign. We're gonna offer him the same contract and see what he says. Maybe even go 3 years. No, we'll go with 2. 2-year deal. Let's see if he takes that. It looks like Austin Slater's up to a 68% motivation to sign. We'll wait on him as well. So we got a huge trade happening. Rangers acquire Kurt Herring from the Phillies, an 83 overall relief pitcher, 24 years old, for Alorki Rodriguez, see potential outfielder, and then David Hageman, who is a C potential starting pitcher. So notable trade, I guess. You know, a relief pitcher that's 84 overall wasn't too crazy, but they wanted to let us know. Ryan O'Hearn is making a contract decision. He is coming to the Chicago White Sox. So we got our first baseman in Ryan O'Hearn. So a big pickup there. Ryan O'Hearn coming to the White Sox. He's going to be our new first baseman. So we're getting a call from the agent for Yoan Moncada. So Yoan Moncada was a Red Sox prospect that went to the White Sox in a trade, and now we're getting called to see if he wants to come back over to Chicago. I guess familiar with the place. How much does he want? He wants 5.7 per year for 2 years. Where would he fit with our lineup? He would be a good switch-handed bat off the bench with decent fielding. Doesn't have crazy speed. It's got 77% motivation to sign. Let's go with something cheaper. Go down to 65%. 4.33 for 2 years. See what he says to that. We got Austin Slater we're still trying to offer, and then we're going to take a look at some of the other prospects. What we need, though, based on the depth chart, we need some catchers. We need 2 more catchers for the AA. We got plenty of second baseman. We got plenty of first baseman. We could use another one just to be safe. We need more outfielders. Right now, our outfield, we got Baldwin, Robert Jr., and Braden Montgomery. We did get DJ Stewart. It's not a huge get. Brooks Baldwin as well could still play the outfield. He's got good fielding as well, not crazy speed. So let's take a look at free agency and see what else we're gonna try and get here. So we decided we're gonna add Darian Blanco, who is a 32-year-old from Cuba. Really good speed, really good stealing and base running aggressiveness. The reason we're going with him is because, you know, we need a bench guy that could really cause havoc on the base paths, because we don't have it yet in the outfield, besides, you know, Luis Robert Jr. If we go after Austin Slater, he's not really a base running threat. He's more of a solid bat and a good fielder. And Blanco would be a good fielder, a solid fielder with great speed and great stealing ability, and has a decent bat too, out of the right side. So we do need some left-handed bats in the outfield, but I think we're going to go good with Blanco here. So that is going to be the priority 2 in free agency. We're not going to set a priority 3 right now. We're going to focus on these 2 guys here so we could get these players signed and fill some last-minute needs. We got some good news. Rufus Werner has accepted the White Sox offer as manager for 3 years. So Rufus Werner is coming to the Chicago White Sox. So that's huge. We finally got our manager. We're still waiting on the pitching coach, but we got our manager. A big trade here. Jeff Hoffman, 85 overall closer, goes to the Pirates for Ji-Hwan Bae, who is really solid as a outfielder, a good depth piece, and Alika Williams, who's a C potential shortstop with a really good arm, really accurate arm. Needs to work on some of his bat, but not a bad trade for the Pirates and the Blue Jays. And Yoan Moncada is going to make his decision. Welcome to the team. He's going to join the Chicago White Sox. So welcome back, Yoan Moncada. Now we got the agent for Rowdy Tellez reaching out, a 6'4" first baseman, really good pop, not much of a fielder, but decent as a fielder. Would play that backup first baseman role for us if we need him. I'm not too sure we need him at the moment, because we got DJ Stewart, who if we put in the majors could play outfield and also first base, and he's a left-handed bat. But yeah, I think we're gonna pass on Tellez. I don't think it's a necessity to bring him aboard. So Blanco's at 76%, Austin Slater's at 85. Let's go ahead and talk to Austin Slater. We could actually knock him down to 7.88 million for 2 years, and he still has 72% motivation to sign. So let's offer him that contract. And Blanco, he wants 2.2 million a year. Let's see if we could get him for 1.65. Because both were ready to sign. So offer those 2 and we'll see if they sign. All right, we're gonna hear back from Darian Blanco. All right, so he's not gonna come for 1.65. We'll give him a little bit more time to sign, but not coming for 1.65 just yet. We'll see if time goes by and he's willing to abide by that 1.65. Now we're hearing from Slater. Slater is coming back for 7.88 million for 2 years. So we got him at a cheaper price than we would have earlier on in free agency. He betted on himself and it didn't work out. We get Kenny Levy as the White Sox pitching coach for 3 years. So now we're whole with our coaching staff, which is great. As you could see here, everybody's locked up. Really needed that. We got an improvement at manager. Now it's time to really, you know, figure out this roster and maybe get a couple more pieces in free agency. So Darian Blanco, we're going to offer him a 3-year, $1.65 million contract. He's got 78% motivation to sign, so let's see if he signs. He's probably going to be the last signing. We did add a couple of catchers. We didn't have to go through a whole process with them. We had Daniel Susick, and then we also add Jose Herrera. So we filled our catching slots that we needed. So every position is full. So we don't have to worry too much about, you know, not having enough players. So we'll see if we're able to get Darian Blanco. And he is coming to the team for 1.65 million for 3 years. So not a bad grab. And he'll help out that defense in the outfield. Well, not that defense, but that speed in the outfield. So I'll have him in the majors. Dominic Fletcher potentially. Right now we have 28 players. We'll probably send down Colas and then probably Dominic Fletcher. That'll probably be the two that go down. So we'll have Blanco, Luis Robert Jr., Austin Slater, and DJ Stewart as our 3 outfielders back there. We also got Brooks Baldwin, who could play the outfield. Yohan Moncada cannot. He could play only third base. I thought he could play actually multiple positions, but he could only play third base. We could have Rojas go to left field as well. He could play second base. He went up to a B potential. We got Lennon Sosa and Chase Mydroth, and then Leo Tejeras, who's close to the majors. We're going to give him some time to develop. We're not just going to bring him straight up. We got Ryan O'Hearn, Bobby Dahl back, Tim Elko as first baseman. We got Kyle Teal at catcher and Corey Lee behind him. Caro could potentially see some majors. But I think we're all done with what we have for this team. Now it's time to sim to the next season and then wrap up this episode. Some big contract news. You got Bo Bichette going to the Pittsburgh Pirates. 88 overall, 272 average, 23 home runs, 86 RBIs, 3 steals. He's getting a 6-year deal worth $137.4 million. So a nice signing for him. Getting a nice little contract. So the arbitration hearing was finished for DJ Stewart. He's gonna get $4.278 million for this season for 2026. So let's just double check that contract. So DJ Stewart, his contract $4.3 million this season. And, we selected him in a Rule 5 draft, and we kind of want to let him go back for that much money. It's a lot of money for, you know, what he's worth. What is our player budget roll right now? Let's see. We have 23.19 million available. And I don't think there was anything else out there to go out and get. Maybe a starting pitcher, but I think we're good there. You know, a lot of middling starting pitchers asking for 15+ million a year. So that is our decision with the roster. Now let's sim to the renewable contracts. So now that the offseason is over and we are in spring training, some of the big stuff that happened with this team, we brought in Dylan Cease to be our ace. 91 overall. He's got some heat with a 97-mile-per-hour fastball. He's also got a 12-6 curve, which that's one of the pitches we love. He had a good season last season. Hopefully he could be the ace we need over here in Chicago. We also got some position battles in the spring training, which we'll talk about in the next episode. But right now we'll just talk about some of the additions. Camilo Duvall came over in a trade. We'll hope that he becomes a great player for us out of that bullpen, potentially a closer. We also brought back Penn Murphy, who was a re-sign. We have Kyle Teal and Corey Lee as our catchers right now. We brought in Ryan O'Hearn to take over for our buddy there in Andrew Vaughn. And he's got some quirks that, you know, could come in handy. He's a left-handed bat that has pretty decent power against right-handers, so he'll be a nice bat to add into this lineup. We still got Chase Mydroth and Lennon Sosa, Josh Rojas. We added Yohan Moncada to welcome him back over to Chicago. We also added Darren Blanco, Daron Blanco, who would be a threat off the bench or potentially a starter depending on how he does in spring training. We also added Slater back and DJ Stewart in the Rule 5 draft, but other than that, not a lot of crazy changes. We did try to make some, you know, crazy moves and get certain players that it didn't pan out, but you know, I feel like we improved this team a ton going into the season. We added some more bats. We got some prospects coming up that are going to be really helpful. Hagen Smith should see the starting lineup out of spring training. But that's pretty much going to do it for this one. If you're enjoying the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm your boy, Is Nefarious, and I am out of here.